Our next guest spent a lifetime in the CIA. He ran Charlie Wilson's war in Afghanistan. As he says, he had too much to do with Iran-Contra for his own taste. He also ran the CIA efforts to run down Pablo Escobar. He was in Chile, and he warned George Tenet that there was a bullet coming from Iraq with his name on it. His new book is called Good Hunting, an American Spymaster Story. Jack Devine, welcome to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Great to be on.
Your story is one of your story, but it's also a warning to anybody who is listening that the CIA is what? Is in trouble, is losing its power? What's the bell you want to ring here?
Well, the main theme of the book is covert action. There's two parts of CIA. It's the espionage piece and the action part. And when you think of James Bond, that's the action part. When you think of George Smiley and Le Carre, that's the espionage. My main point is, instead of having boots on the ground, we should be using the covert action below the radar, CIA, and its ties to the special forces before we put boots on the ground. That's the main theme, plus political action so that we don't even have to get there, that we influence elections. Let's take Maliki in Iraq, that we work to avoid having someone that's not even a friend in power. So that's the main thesis about CIA. I think it's strong and robust as ever. Policy decisions are made and CIA follows those. But I'm not worried about CIA. It's an indispensable tool of statecraft. Who runs it's a different story.
I don't understand. What do you mean? Who runs it? What do you mean by that?
Well, I think almost in any agency, when something happens, you have let's say an intelligence failure that is a genuine failure. And I really believe most of what we're looking today is a policy failure, not an intelligence failure. You put a new director in. The people are the same. They're high-quality people. They're high-quality people in the State Department, and certainly armed forces are high quality. If you have problems, it's a leadership problem, which is a much easier thing to fix than trying to fix the culture and bring up a whole new level of experts. So we're rich in talent in this country.
CIA has come under quite a bit of controversy for spying on the U.S. Is the CIA listening to this conversation right now?
I think that's the NSA. So the NSA, they've got some issues today. But look, we need NSA. We're spending a lot of time, and rightfully so, on the privacy issue. But their great contribution to national security is being able to monitor our adversaries and soon-to-be adversaries around the world and being able to intercept them. So let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. The privacy issue, even there, I think we're in such a complicated world. And as you're looking at Congress, they're having a trouble. I mean, both Republicans and Democrats, even after you get over the rhetoric, coming up with something that satisfies the privacy issues in this complicated world is not easy.
Jack Devine, our guest. The book is called Good Hunting, an American Spymaster Story. You ran Charlie Wilson's war. At the end of that movie, they make a point to say that when we won or when we pulled out completely. And there's a line that says, we didn't even leave $1 million for schools. Was that the mistake of Charlie Wilson's war?
Back then, Charlie Wilson and I agreed that we should be staying behind and putting in infrastructure. And there's something very instructive with this. After 25 years, when I look back, I think I was wrong, and I think Charlie was wrong. It wouldn't have mattered. It would not have mattered. In other words, unless you have a country that's prepared and ready, and that's why in the case of Afghanistan, I'm pessimistic about the outcome there. I think it would have been a waste of time at the end of the day. And let me just add one thing about Charlie Wilson's war. He was a great marketer. He named the whole war after himself. And he and I were good friends. But, the problem with it, the war was actually a Republican president, Democratic Congress, a highly funded program carried out by experts and with the people on the ground that wanted to get it done. That makes for a boring movie, but you have a Charlie Wilson, a flamboyant congressman, a rogue CIA guy. That's a more interesting movie. And he and I had dinner at Sparks in New York where Castellano was killed on the steps, but definitely Charlie Wilson style. And he said, Jack, you hated you didn't like the book, but you're going to hate the movie. So Charlie, too, knew. But he was a class – he was somebody we could have in Congress today because he understood bipartisan very well.
Jack Devine, our guest. The book is called Good Hunting, an American Spymaster Story. It's a memoir as well as the way forward with the CIA. Jack, I thought that with what happened in the last 10, 12 years, with the boots on the ground in Afghanistan and with what happened with Iraq, that we were going more towards CIA, more towards covert ops, more towards spies, not less?
No, I think we were going in the direction of military. In other words, what we were trying to do, both in Afghanistan and in Iraq, is to nation build, and much of it was the rehash of the counterinsurgency programs that were in play in Vietnam. So and that didn't end well. So there shouldn't be surprises in students of instability. So I think what I'm saying is no boots on the ground. I mean, there were no boots on the ground in Afghanistan when we drove the Russians out. And a handful of people managed that program with some allies. So I'm for in Afghanistan. If they can put up a good fight, great. If they're not, then we're not going to make a difference, and we can throw all the money we want, and we can put our precious soldiers at risk. But at this point, I think there's a lesson to be learned, which is you can't force feed stability and democracy, and certainly the United States should not get between the Sunni and Shia battles. I mean, you can't pick a side on this. This is just a very complicated situation today.
Let me ask a political question, because President Bush came to power saying he wasn't going to nation build, and then he spent 8 years basically trying to build two different nations. The Republican Party, that was part of their mantra. What happened?
Well, maybe they don't know when they say they're going to do nation building, what it involves. And I said the first criteria, very basic. Most things start to become a big problem when the cornerstone isn't set right. Did we really think the Iraqis were going to have a democratic government? And do we today think the tribal nature of Afghanistan? So if you get that wrong, you can invest a lot of time and money. And the other thing is, an election doesn't mean democracy. So we allow an election to take place, and we let an autocrat take over, and we stand by. I mean, we had the right because they were the vanquished. We had the right to make sure that we had a leader in there that was going to take that country in a non-sectarian way, in a way that was positively disposed. And it seems to me that one of the great errors when we look back, forget going in being an error, is why we let Maliki congregate so much power to him and didn't muscle him.
Jack Devine with us. The book is Good Hunting, an American Spymaster story. He's going to be in St. Louis September 16th at St. Louis University. Could be a must-get because this sounds like a great book. Good Hunting, an American Spymaster story. One last question for you, Jack Devine. In your efforts to run down Pablo Escobar in Colombia, somebody told me that even though Pablo Escobar went away, the cocaine trade stayed about the same. Is that true or false?
That's a great problem. What we can do is criminality keep beating with a stick. But until the demand problem goes away, somebody somewhere is going to find a way to make a lot of money by making it go forward. We had no illusions that by taking out Pablo Escobar and the Cali cartel that it was going to end the problem. That starts at home.
And so even though Pablo Escobar went away and the cartel went away, somebody else filled the void.
Right. It just broke down into smaller groups, but they produced the same amount.
Yeah.
So it's tapered off for other reasons, but it's really a demand problem.
Jack Devine, the book is Good Hunting, an American Spymaster story. Spent a lifetime in the CIA and depicts it all in a new memoir called Good Hunting. Jack Devine, Good Hunting, an American Spymaster story. Be safe, Jack. Thanks for checking in. Good luck.
Thank you.
You got it. 7:30 here. Big Five.